Hello, my health freedom loving friends. Misty Carlfeld here with Health Freedom Idaho, and I'm here with my dear friends from North Idaho, Simona and Rochelle. We are going to dish about the upcoming race, which legislators, which sheriffs. We've all had our experiences with each of them, and so we're going to share that with you, because how do you vote? How do you know how to vote? It's always overwhelming. Even for me, I got my ballot out, and there's still names on there I don't know. So anyway, we're just going to share our experiences, because Health Freedom Idaho does not endorse any candidate. Okay, so let's just get that off the table right now. We're not endorsing. We're just sharing our experiences and how the interactions have gone, because, you know, we've been doing this for a few years now. So we have a little experience under our belt to share.
Yeah.
And let's be real. Whether you're in their district or not, when they vote, it affects your freedom one way or the other.
Yep, it does. And that's why it's so important that we're having this conversation and talking about the entire state and every single district. Because the more freedom-loving, liberty-loving legislators that we get in, the safer our liberty is in this state. And so it is important. Your neighboring district is just as important as your own.
Yeah. Ultimately, our fight is in the legislature. I mean, when it all comes down to it, that is what's important.
Yes, it is aggravating. So aggravating when I'm sitting in the Health and Welfare Committee and we lose by 1 or 2 votes.
Yeah.
And you know, it only takes one different person on that committee to change the outcome of our bill. And until we get freedom lovers, more freedom lovers at the Capitol, we will continue to lose. We, the people, will continue to lose until we vote better and get freedom lovers at the Capitol.
Yeah. So if you see this video, pass it on to your friends, because there's quite a few of us, but there's a lot of people in our state. You know?
Well, and I don't know if we want to get into this, the hierarchy of the good old boys club and the way things kind of work, that we have a certain representative who gets to pick, right? They get to pick who's on the committees. And so if we don't give him an opportunity to pick and choose and stack that deck, because everyone's a liberty lover, then we win.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, who else do we have?
Let's go to 2. We have Tim Kastings in 2. My family has known Tim and his family, Karen, and his 8 beautiful children. Most of them grown, very successful. They were homeschoolers. They've always been very liberty-minded. We've known them for over, I would say, about 11 years. And he's put on events for others so that they will have an opportunity to sit in the legislature. For example, Janice, our lieutenant. And my dad has been trying to talk him into running for a long time. You know, he was politically involved before he decided to step into politics himself. And I think it just shows how determined he is to preserve our freedoms. You know, he's very passionate about the CPS issue. He's definitely supportive of parents choosing whether to vaccinate their children or not. Was he also at the rally?
Yeah, he was. Every time I've ever been anywhere,
rallies. Yeah, he's always there.
He's always there, and he has been locally involved politically ever since I've lived here. I worked on the congressional campaign a couple years ago, and I went to this event for the Central Committee, and I was like the black sheep. I just got my foot in the door working into politics and stuff locally here, and I had my Michael Snyder hat on, and everyone looked at me like I smelled bad. I was the stinky kid. I was the black sheep, and Tim was one of the few people that walked up to me and smiled and like knew that I was hurting, confession. I had to go in the parking lot and like cry afterwards, because I literally felt like I was this, freshman in high school. And it was rough learning experience though, but he was, and I think it was actually his kindness that actually made me kind of break down.
Yeah.
You know, when you're being tough and then someone shows you sympathy and then you lose it. Yeah. So
well, he just has amazing moral character, you know, and I think that is so lacking and so needed in our representatives today, because we can't tell them how to make each vote. You know, we're not sitting there with them going through all the bills, but if somebody is of good moral character and if their liberties are in the forefront for them, it's just, it makes such a huge difference. And that for me would be Tim.
And he says his main goal is limited government and the most amount of liberty. So I think that anytime that he's going to cast a vote, it's going to be with that on the forefront of his mind. Limited government and the most amount of liberty. So we would both be constituents, right?
We are both constituents.
Yeah. So
if we want to go to 3, we
Can
do
I
have
add
something.
in? Can I add in something?
Oh my goodness! Yes, please do. Well, I forget that you have some history with Tim too.
Yes, I do. I know. I wouldn't have. I mean, other than, so starting from the beginning, I was up in North Idaho, and he had reached out through you, Simona, and wanted to meet with me.
That's right.
And I was like, wants to meet with me? I mean, let's be real. If you like health freedom, you're considered some kind of like hardcore freedom lover. Like somehow we're like the rebellious, you know, really hard freedom lovers. And people are like, oh no, they're crazy, you know? So the fact that he wanted to meet with me, I was like, ooh, are you my people? Or are you going to try to tell me to settle down?
Well, and on that note, I think a lot of people want to go middle road when they're running. Yeah, I don't want to be labeled. I don't want to, let me just get in, but not people like Tim. And that's really awesome.
Yeah, after my meeting with him, after my meeting with him, I realized that it wasn't that he was trying to tell me to settle down. So that was nice. And then I thought, okay, well, we'll see how it turns out. Well, then, as we know, he took John Green's seat. And so I had the good fortune of being able to have interactions with him during this last legislative session. And I can tell you, I have never seen a legislator, I mean, a brand new baby legislator, right? He's just trying to figure things out. He dug in so hard on the health freedom issue. He wanted to understand our bills. He was tenacious. He just wanted to, if he couldn't reach me, because of course we were busy during legislative session, we're all slammed. And so he might leave me a message. And if I didn't call him back, he called me again. He was like, no, I want to understand this bill. So I've never seen a legislator act like that. He didn't have any kind of like, I already know what I'm doing. I already have this all figured out. You're kind of a fly that's buzzing around bugging me. And I can't see that would be his future, because he just seems to love freedom so much.
I feel like he, raised his hand and swore that oath for that seat, and then hit the ground running for us and for anyone that was seeking liberty. He took that oath so serious.
And I don't think anybody would have blamed him kind of coming into the session like that and maybe coasting and trying to figure things out and who's on first and who's on second. But that is not what he did. Not at all.
Yeah.